Unerwartet singt eine schöne Frauenstimme.
Oh, it's completely fine.
Nice. Okay, good evening, everybody, or at whatever time you're listening to it at home. You are listening to Fold by Fold, the podcast on experimental music, improvised music, and new music. And tonight we're talking to Artur Iwinski from Poland. Now, Artur is an improvising bass player. He's working with the Kolorking Muzyczny collective and also with the TOI. And yeah, Artur, it's quite an honor to talk to you. How are you doing these days?
Oh, I'm doing great, and it's I'm really thankful that you decided to feature me here. So yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this, and yeah, it's great. I'm doing great.
It has been quite of a no-brainer for me to have you on here because you're just featured on two of my favorite releases from last year, or from this year, I should say, as we're recording this in late December. Wow, holy shit, man! Like I've known you on Facebook for years, back in the early music book days, and I always knew you had meticulous taste. But I never heard you on anything before, and then I checked out those two projects, and I was absolutely blown away, my dude.
Well, yeah, like I was quite jealous of people like you, because you're one of these people that are on my Facebook sphere, like in general, who are musicians and who are good musicians.
Oh wow, thank you. I think that's an overstatement.
No, well, I don't think that's an overstatement. So, but yeah, like I was kind of jealous because there were quite a few people who had like some work recorded, etc., some albums here and there, and like I'm really happy that something moved, like in terms of recording, and I've got something to in Poland there's a pretty huge improvised music scene right now, which is finally getting documented.
Yeah, because I've heard about it from people, but the only records that I ever heard out of Poland, in the free improvising thing, are like from, I don't know, the 80s or something. I really didn't know there was quite a large contemporary improvising scene there.
Well, yeah, there's so the city I'm mostly operating in is Poznań, which is well in the west, and there's quite a few venues for improvised musicians, which is honestly something that I was kind of surprised by. And are there such things, where you live in Germany? Like, is there also not only like in terms of people who play freely improvised music together, but also places where they congregate?
Yeah.
Or
that's the thing, there can't be a scene without a venue.
Well, yeah, but like in Toruń, where the TOI operates, there are no places that want improvised musicians. Like, there are improvising musicians, but there are no places for them to play in.
Yeah, I feel that it's the same over here. It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me it's just like such a weird thing. But
and you're a large group too. It's not like a chamber thing. It's like you call it an orchestra.
Yeah, it's 25
really
people.
is.
We played a gig like on the 11th, and it was 25 people on stage.
Yeah. Jesus, that's like something. Yeah, you need a bit of a venue to pack people in there.
Well, yeah, obviously. But also, like, for me, it goes against this myth that no one really wants to listen or play improvised music, because like in a total is really really small. It's like 100,000 inhabitants or something, and you've got 25 people willing to play freely improvised music. So, and there are people who actually want to go and see these gigs.
And I don't even believe that it's like something that doesn't even have mass appeal. You know, I've played some free improv shows in punk venues, and those are people who are obviously, you know, on the kind of more, I don't know, left field side of music consumption, but still they had no prior experience with free improvisation at all. And it can be a kind of music that can seem a little bit comical, but they didn't really have that kind of response at all. They really ate it up and they loved it, and they wanted to see more of it. Like I don't think there should be any like this argument of elitism is always thrown around. Like, yeah, free improvised music is so fucking, you know, snobby and artsy and elitish, but that's total bullshit.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I had the conversation on elitism a few months back with some people, and like we all came to a conclusion that, you know, it's not about free improv being more difficult or something from other types of music, but it's more about it not being as present in like the public perception as let's say even normal jazz or something. Like, people don't have experience with it, and that's the worst thing, honestly.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's not even that there is a dislike for this kind of stuff. It's just most people are completely in ignorance about its existence. Like,
yeah. There's this video on YouTube of John Zorn and Yoko Ono performing together. I think that you know what I'm talking about, and it's absolutely hilarious to see that some people are, oh my god, what is this shit? While others are like, that's kind of nifty. It's just lack of its presence in our collective mind. That's the problem for me.
It can, like, the internet can sometimes distort our perceptions of like music listening demographics, because you go on YouTube, you know, and you check out a Yoko Ono video, and there will be tons of fucking boomers who just came there to hate on the poor woman, you know, and you get the impression that like nobody ever listens to this kind of music, but it's just like Yoko Ono is kind of a meme, you know, she gets passed around for like old dudes to dunk on her.
It makes me feel so sad for her. Like, we love Linda Sharrock or some other Dagmar Krause, but we hate Yoko Ono for no reason.
For doing the same thing. But then again, okay, I think most people who hate on Yoko Ono, they wouldn't really vibe with Dagmar Krause either if they even knew about her. You know? So, and this kind of just because Yoko Ono was involved with this, you know, terrible asshole who is not to be named, you know. She just gets all the fucking hate.
Well, like she really did get a short end of stick in all of this, right? Like, first such a terrible husband, and then such a terrible perception of you.
Like media perception, shit like that.
And it's really really, like, I don't really think she's exceptional, but she is good. She is good. She's very very nice.
She's good, and like, we're talking about performance arts and like Fluxus movement, and to talk about, you know, exceptional artists in that sphere kind of feels wrong to me, like, because the whole movement was extremely powerful, and everybody who was kind of dealing in any way in this kind of artscape absolutely deserves recognition and respect.
Absolutely. Like, it's when you think about American art from like half of the the later half of the 20th century,
Yep.
you have to think about fluxes. Like
Totally.
so many things started and developed there.
It's not even purely American. Like you had like people, Joseph Beuys and Henning Christiansen, from the European world. Kind of, I don't know if they are technically considered fluxes. I think they are.
I've got no idea. Oh my god! I just thought that my beer was going to explode.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Did it? It did not explode. Fortunately, did it?
It did not. It did that.
Wonderful.
It did not. Yeah.
Then cheers. Glad, glad, glad.
But yeah. What you said about fluxes earlier, it's just absolutely essential when we want to discuss art, and I've got to admit with a lot of shame that I'm not as knowledgeable on subject as I should be. Like,
I think that's true for like all of us, because in this age of like distractions, like who the fuck really goes in depth on like a 60s art movement?
Yeah, I had to write a paper about this once for studies back when I studied arts critique. There was this event that Fluxus took part in, specifically John Cage and David Tudor, I think.
Oh yeah, David Tudor. Yeah.
Yeah, he did this brilliant thing. I forgot its name, but he played an accordion, and he had like maybe 5 or 6 effects, just like delay, some reverb, etc. But he did this absolutely amazing drone thing from an accordion, and I loved it. But the name it eludes me. It's no.
I think I can sleuth it out and put it in the video description when this eventually drops. It's funny.
Yeah.
I just bought an accordion yesterday because
Oh,
a friend
nice.
of mine who lives in the Alps. He's very interested in like the anti-fascist tradition of Bavarian culture, because we think of Bavarian as like very reactionary and shit like that. But that's not really historically the case. And he wants to do this alpine ambient thing.
Oh, nice.
And now I gotta learn zither and accordion.
Well, good luck with that.
Those are huge worlds. Yeah, I mean, the accordion is crazy. Just last week on this podcast, I talked to Sioma Kloczko, who plays the accordion. Very influenced by Sofia Gubaidulina, and also by her Russian upbringing. She used to win all these accordion competitions as a kid.
Oh, great.
Oh, man.
A very close friend of mine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to talk about accordions.
Okay. Yeah,
for a bit.
let's keep going. Fuck it.
Yeah. So this very close friend of mine, he also plays an accordion. He's been doing this for like, I don't know, 7 years maybe. And he has this in Poland. Before the Second World War, there were these accordions, but they had 3 rows of keys where your right hand should be. So it's like it's called harmonia trzyrzędowa in Polish, which is 3-row harmony. And it's an absolutely bonkers instrument. And you also, it's amazing, and I do.
I have looked a little bit into the bayan for composition studies. You know, the Balkan accordion. And it really has some superpowers. Like there are some things you can do with that thing that would otherwise not absolutely be possible in a chamber context. You know, you can write great chamber music with the accordion. It just blends so well with every instrument, and its possibilities are extremely broad. That's so cool. What you can do
I
with
believe you. Like, I've got no idea about writing chamber music, but you are knowledgeable on the subject, so yeah.
I ain't at all. I'm just studying the shit right now, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, like your musical background is kind of interesting, right? You came kind of through it completely from an autodidactic perspective. Is that true?
I used to have a teacher.
Oh, okay.
There's this very popular band in Poland called Them, and they are like a dead rock band. Just every father in Poland loves jam. And the guy who taught me, he played with them for a little bit. He played accordion on one song, and yeah, he was my teacher for like 4 years. But once I told him, "Hey, I want to learn how to play Autumn Leaves," he said, "Oh, I'm not a jazz musician, and you should pick someone else." And that was the end of my education.
Wow. That's one of the best anecdotes we've had on the podcast so far. Goddamn. Oh no. Yeah, that's how it goes. But then you kind of did you jump into the improvisational thing?
Yeah, that happened a bit earlier. That was like late 2018, and in 2018, I listened to John Coltrane's Ascension for the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it is one of these albums that just changed you.
Yeah, that's a life changer. That's
a life changer, and it kind of snowballed from there.
Nice.
I took one of my friends with me, and I had this awful job that year that I had to work in a restaurant from 5:30 till 1:30 p.m. So I was absolutely out of it, and the whole afternoons I was just very lethargic, and I would listen to free jazz for like 6 or 7 hours a day, and send it all to my friend who was in turn send me more free jazz, and that way we discovered like 200 albums in one summer.
You're so fucking knowledgeable about this shit. Like, there's so many great records that I just discovered through you. Like, I'm extremely grateful. So much great stuff. Like, I don't know, very little comes to mind right now, but one of the things is like The Spy from Istanbul.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It got recommended to me by the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, nice.
Or something. Or no, that one was when on your phone. I don't know if it is true for yours, but when I swipe left on the home screen, I've News and Google News recommended that album to me.
Oh,
from
wow.
like Bandcamp or something. Yeah.
That's wow. And I showed it to my profs because I really fucking loved it. It's such a unique kind of aesthetic, and they go so many places, but it's super coherent. It's cool. And none of my profs had ever heard about it. Like, none of them.
Oh. The guy who recorded it, I forgot his name, but I know that he was Turkish.
Yeah.
He is supposed to be like a very huge star in Turkey, but more in the classical world. So, or like I've got this. I've had lessons about Turkish history for my studies, Balkan studies.
Yeah, exactly. You're studying Balkan studies now. That's not
And I asked about that guy who did A Spy from Istanbul, my Turkish history teacher, and he said that he knew him, but from classical music. So that's kind of interesting. I think that he went to Britain for some time. He just recorded like 2 brilliant albums and then went back to Turkey to play classical music.
It seems, I don't think that jazz, like there's jazz roman, obviously, in Turkey, which is basically like a jazzified version of Roma music, romantic music. That's the thing that I know exists, but I don't think like many jazz clubs exist anymore. Like my I don't know my family relations in English, but a dude I'm related to is Kurdish, and he told me that until like the 70s or something, jazz was indeed a thing. Like especially in Istanbul, but also in other places in Turkey. And then through like this whole fucking revisionist, kind of developments in Turkey that have been going on until this day and are still going on. This has disappeared more and more. And I won't say jazz is banned in Turkey, but jazz is very much relegated to the kind of lounge music, for very, very wealthy individuals. It doesn't seem to be a culture really within Turkey.
Yeah.
There are a few people who are doing it. They seem to be also kind of working within the classical idiom because, that's just apparently something that's easier to do in Turkey.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the situation in Turkey, but I know a bit about Yugoslavia, and in
Also
Macedonia.
crazy jazz stuff, from the 70s. Damn, Yugoslavia had some great shit.
Yeah, and also like they had in the 80s they had this very, very fruitful avant-prog scene, also with like modern classical and free jazz influences.
Yeah.
But these days there seems to be a pretty active jazz scene in Macedonia, in northern Macedonia, with a huge jazz festival in Skopje. Like this year they featured Moore Mother, Mats Gustafsson.
Ah, wow.
Luke Stewart, I think.
Wow.
Like, huge names. And yeah, it's in Skopje. So I was quite surprised. I was wondering because as a Polish person, we are fed like stories about the jazz scene from the 60s and the 70s, from the moment we get more exposed to our culture about Komeda and people like that. But I was quite surprised to learn that this wasn't the case. Like this this wasn't the case for the whole Eastern Bloc. That was quite surprising to me. That's like Polish jazz scene seems to be quite unique in the context of the 60s, because in the 70s, like we've got some great jazz
Poland
from Soviet Union.
Was back in the day very much the portal to the Eastern Bloc, right? It was very much the gate to it.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
A little bit more socially liberal and shit,
Yeah, and also like jazz was banned in the 50s, like until Stalin died, I believe. Jazz in Poland was banned. One of the greatest Polish jazzmen, Andrzej Trzaskowski, got into jail for playing jazz, which is very bizarre to me because later he played in Newport and met John Coltrane, but that's beside the point. But yeah, like from the mid 50s on, Poland seems to be this like melting pot of jazz musicians from all over this part of Europe. So
lots of people Krzysztof Komeda. I don't think if he was even originally from Poland or if he like emigrated from another part of the Eastern Bloc.
He's from Poznań. He's from the city I'm studying right.
Nice.
But I think that there were some people from like Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, it was called back in the day, but there were from the Soviet Union, from Lithuania, the current Lithuania. So like that festival Jazz Jamboree was a huge thing. We've had like Charles Mingus and guys like that.
Yeah, I've definitely heard recordings from the Jazz Jamboree, and it was for later in the development of European free jazz. Damn, that was an important spot.
Yeah. Like I'm honestly very grateful that under these under this regime, they had no incentive to make money, so they could just make whatever they wanted, and they didn't have to care if it sold, because it was
It's kind of similar to. I mean, obviously not ideologically or anything, but it's the state of the musician is kind of similar to nowadays in late capitalist era, where also we just cannot expect to make any money from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's surprising to like, what, you want me to play for more than a beer?
exactly.
Holy shit.
Yesterday we didn't even get our drink tickets. At the fucking session I played it, I went to the fucking guy. And he was like, "Yeah, sorry, man, I'm all out of drink tickets. The fucking musician list was too long today. We had too large a set list. You're fucked." There was like quite the I didn't fucking expect that. And he told me after the fucking gig, the motherfucker.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Fortunately, I was already drunk, as I usually am, so didn't really make a difference.
Well, yeah, but it's still such a weird thing. Like when we were playing this gig with TOI 3 weeks ago on the 11th, I was really surprised because the venue gave us some cookies and tea, and that was
nice.
the first time that I was given something like to do. We were lucky to get a bottle of water before, so yeah.
But then at least it's a very cute gesture,
Yeah, it is. Like,
yeah, it's not like German fucking jazz clubs where they lose your fucking drink tickets or there are like many people booked.
But, like, were you playing with a large band or something?
It was kind of an open jam event. But we were kind of like, I had to be there because of Jazz Academy. It wasn't expected turn up for me. So I'm kind of pissed that I didn't get to have my Pilsner, but yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
I mean, I had plenty of Pilsner, so
well,
in the end, it was no problem.
I'm having a Pilsner right now, so cheers to that.
Very nice. Cheers. Okay, slight topic switch. What's your relationship to the bass?
To the bass, I just play it. Like I when I was 14 or something, I heard John Deacon from Queen. I decided that, hey, that guy is pretty cool. I want to play bass as well, so I picked up the bass.
Literally the coolest guy in Queen, in my book at least.
Like, all good music that Queen did was because of John Deacon.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the sound. Yeah.
Yeah, the sound. He's a great. He was a great bass player, and yeah, he kind of started it, and I just started playing guitar first, but I had trouble.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Like, I had trouble shaping chords, so I decided to switch to the bass just as I wanted, and yeah, it was like I don't really see it as something special. It's just an instrument that I play, and I want myself to be as good as I can. So yeah, it's just a tool of self-expression, but I don't really give it some like spiritual value or something. It's just had I wanted to learn piano, I think I would have the same relationship with piano that I have with the bass. It's yeah.
Well, this is definitely the most pragmatic answer that I've gotten to that question on this podcast so far. Very nice though. Like, yeah, sometimes people wax poetically about it, and I think it's super interesting just to see what people like. Maybe I'm too object focused or something, but I think it's very, very important to kind of see what the person has to say about the fucking tool.
Well, yeah, like I'm very impressed by people who have like, oh yeah, I play let's say a trumpet and my spirit flows through this trumpet.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I just like don't. Yeah, I'm also, I think, too pragmatic to just feel that way. Yeah.
But that's obviously, that's just another wonderful approach to doing the thing. It's wonderful, right? Like in free improvisation and in this kind of shit we're dealing, uh, there really is no by the book method. And if there were a by the book method, nobody would follow it because that's not what we are about.
Well, yeah, like the first rule of free improv is there's no book. So yeah, but like, well, in TOI, I feel like it sometimes is by the book. Like if you listen to it, it
very
sounds
rhythmic. So composed. It sounds so fucking composed. Like, do you have a conductor or something?
Yeah, the guy who is credited with the wheelbarrow on the Bandcamp release is the conductor, and he is like, we've got these. It's not a conductor per se. He's doing this sign conducting. So yeah, everyone knows when to stop, when to start, when to come in, etc., etc. It's a bit like have you heard like Frank Zappa's improvisation with the first Mothers of Invention?
Yeah. Like Eric Dolphy Memorial Barbecue or what it's called.
Yeah. So it's very much inspired by that because our conductor is like a huge fan of Zappa's music. So
oh no, that's a conductor I would not like to work with. No, just kidding. No, Zappa is great. I'm just not really just the biggest Zappa fan.
Was an asshole, like, but he did make some good music, and
for real he did, and he kind of stumbled into it sometimes weirdly, and it's just kind of remarkable. Like the guy had a crazy work ethic, and he really composed some great stuff. Yeah, and the way he kept it all together, like, obviously is very remarkable. But also he's like, for me, he's like the Fordist of music. He's very very production oriented, very assembly line kind of way of working with musicians.
He was also very pragmatic. Like
he was, but like in a Machiavellian kind of way, which is probably what I dislike. But I like me some pragmatism. Like, then you have people who really don't have their shit together, but they also make marvelous music. But the thing with conducted improvisation is that it really needs somebody who knows what he wants to hear.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
and
I had the impression when listening to TOI, I don't know if this is true, correct me if I'm wrong, but I had the impression that there were, for the episodes, there were certain themes laid out. Like everybody went into it in a sort of prepared way, and they knew what this piece they were gonna be playing would be about.
So this is kind of like how the orchestra works. That the conductor just conducts in a way that makes certain themes appear, and we process the theme, and when the conductor feels that like what we are constructing then is done, then he just stops everything and we move on to something else. It's very apparent on the recordings, on the concert recordings that I hope will get published one day, because we played a gig in summer that we really did sound like we played 3 compositions, but they were improvised. But like they had the beginning, the middle, and the end.
It's always such a, it feels so coherent. Which is, even with conducted improvisation, you don't get that a lot of time, Like people they respond to the visual cues of the conductor, but there still is no feeling of this kind of congruence. But I feel like because you have these symbols, hand symbols and gestures and shit, that you all have a unified definition for, that creates something different, right? So there is a language that is pre-considered.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, what I think that makes these improvised orchestras, because like the gestures that we have aren't exclusive to TOI. They were actually borrowed from POI, which is Poznańska Orkiestra Improwizowana, which is inactive as of now, unfortunately. But yeah, they had these hand gestures. They came up with them, but they had a problem that we didn't have like so far in TOI, which is ego. And like in TOI, people don't want to become like frontline musicians. They don't want to show off, which is also kind of amazing, and that is what gives it the cohesion, I think.
You're probably just way more mature than those kind of show-offy improvise. For me, like, it was a learning experience. I used to overplay every time when I improvised with people. I was always just jiving.
Well, it's also
usually
just
not
because
the greatest idea, because then you dictate the whole format of it, and you probably have nowhere as good as ideas, as the other guys. And the interesting thing would be to create structure from multiple inputs at the same time, and not have one guy on the front kind of dictating how everybody else should play. Like that's
yeah. Like I think that it also often boils down to like personal relationship between the musicians. If the musicians like themselves outside of the stage, then they are less prone to showing off, because like, hey, we're all friends and it's all just for fun.
Yeah,
like
totally.
There's no pressure.
Yeah, and you're a real orchestra, like you know the people there, right?
Yeah, like okay. There's around 25 people at the moment who are involved in the orchestra. Well, they obviously aren't present for every rehearsal, for every gig, etc. So it's not like a stable lineup, but we all know each other and we're all like on friendly terms with each other. So people are willing to like go on compromises and stuff. Yeah, it's so amazing. Like, yeah.
Oh man, I'm kind of envious. Over here it's always when you play these free improvised sessions or you play concerts, it's usually with different people every time. There is a huge wealth of free improvising people here, but there is no real networking, and you hardly ever find somebody whom you can really develop a language with together, because it's always different people, and then you show up on stage and that's probably a situation where overplaying is more prone to happening.
Well, yeah, because if you don't know the person you're playing with, you're always like bound to give the most from yourself, and that's why people overplay. Like on this Kolorking Muzyczny thing that I sent you,
that's also great. That's Kolorking Muzyczny. I will link it in the description too. That's wow. You're only on one track, but I've listened to every of the tracks because they were fucking fantastic.
Yeah, they were really good, and it's also like a place which is only purpose is to make musicians congregate and meet each other, and like they have town funding, they have city funding, so like it's non-profit, and it's great.
I wish we could get that here. And in Germany the discourse is always like, Poland is so fucked, it's so super reactionary, blah blah blah. But y'all get like fucking cultural funding for free improv. Meanwhile, our music schools are shutting down by the minute. Like,
holy shit. Yeah. That's I didn't really know that. So wow.
It's super dystopian, and now we've got this new coalition coming up which is basically the Social Democrats, the Liberals, and the Greens. And you can already imagine what this is gonna do to public educational funding. Yeah, this is not gonna be good.
Like Poznan is ruled by this guy. I don't know if he's a social democrat, I think, and but he is like has very much leftist social policies, and he's like all for LGBTQ plus rights and stuff, and he also wants Poznan to be like a very cultural place, and that's why he is very, very likely to give public funding to such things. So it's limited to one city, unfortunately.
Okay, but at least there's something of a safe haven for out there music.
Yeah. In Torun, there used to be this great place called Kulturhaus, which unfortunately closed down like last October. And it wasn't because of the pandemic. They were just awfully in debt. Yeah, but it's what happens to every place that is like ambitious artistically. And
same here. Yeah.
That's like this awful reality of the capitalist world we live in.
Absolutely, man. Like, that's so fucked. If anybody of you at home learn anything from this podcast, then don't trust capitalism. Right? It's
yeah.
It's no good. Like last week I talked to Sioma Kloczko about free jazz in the USSR and or generally the Eastern Bloc. And I think we were a little bit imprecise. I think some people got the impression that we were talking about the USSR specifically, but it was about the whole Eastern Bloc, and there is like a grayscale obviously to that.
Yeah,
we've already kind of discussed it in this episode.
Yeah, we did. There's this book called History of the Polish Jazz, of Jazz in Poland, and it has one funny anecdote that would like finish up the subject. That in 1972 they did an experiment that they put free jazz on the factory's PA system to see if the workers would work more efficiently. And it turned out
they did.
They did work more efficiently by 6%, I think.
Wow.
But then they all said that they just did it so fast because they wanted it to be over. So.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like, imagine listening to that shit in the workplace. Like, even listening to anything in the workplace that is like pre-mandated by the factory owner. Like, holy shit, no.
Yeah,
that's like music under Fordism, right? With all these assembly line workers like listening to like jive-ass renditions of bossa nova standards, you know.
Just imagine that, like, you've got this lounge music, and then you've got the factory sounds with all these metals clashing and shit.
that's a caretaker record, you know. That's not a working environment. Oh god damn. I don't know, like what the fuck, like the use of music in our capitalist society. This is really something that boggles me endlessly, right?
Yeah.
What culture industry did to music, you know? I was on the phone to Erika Lindstrom Jensen the other day. We were talking about how music, like we shouldn't ask about why humans do music, but we should ask what are humans that we are so drawn to doing something like this. And, you know, like, it's not about the subject, it's about what we really are and like how fundamental it is to our parasocial bonding. And like music is so fucking important, and now we're in an age since the Second World War, or even slightly before that, where this thing that is basically as important for us as oxygen, that is really, you know, the kind of the stuff that social bonds are made on, you know, that kind of stuff, that this is being sold back to us as commodity. And we are listening to pre-curated Spotify playlists, and nobody has any idea anymore about what's going on, and, you know.
Yeah. But honestly, I think it's slowly getting better. Like, since I think, like, the rise of independent record labels.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay,
guys,
yeah, we are getting our music out. Like if we were
Yeah.
currently in the 1990s, that wouldn't be a
Yeah.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but right now, like, I think that the record label has progressively getting like less and less power
Yeah.
in the art that's getting to us. Like, it's all thanks to the internet, I think.
Totally.
But yeah, it's awful, but it's one of these things that are getting better, or at least I like to think that are getting better.
I think that just the future will prove your point, or it won't. We have no method of foresight
Well,
regarding
yeah,
that.
we don't. But
That's,
like,
yeah. Sometimes I'm
Bandcamp is a
getting really
very nice
pessimistic
thing.
about it. Sometimes I'm getting really pessimistic about it
Yeah.
because now we're basically all outsider artists, right? Now we're
Well,
just
yeah.
insulated little spheres. I mean, you less so because you're connected to a whole orchestra of improvisers. But most of us are, like, especially in the pandemic, sitting at home and recording improvised music for others to overdub over or something like that, or not even that, just putting it out solo. And that's,
Yeah.
I don't know, that it's so sad that scene building has, I don't know, scene building via the digital age should seem so simple.
But it's not.
actually, it's
Yeah.
never working out.
Music book was a mistake.
Definitely, yeah, sadly, yeah. And
But-
we were there since the early days, right? When did you
Yeah.
join? I was there
Uh,
since like 2015 or something.
Yeah, something like that, 2016 maybe.
Yeah.
But what I like to think that once this pandemic situation is more under control, which hopefully will be sooner than later,
Yeah.
I think that what we will like gain out of this recording solo in our living rooms situation is that we will have like we will be more confident as improvisers, and because there are people to build a scene out there, and it's all about connecting to them. And like if the TOI experience has taught me one thing, that even in the fucking shithole that Torun is, you can have an improvised music scene. So yeah, like the guys from TOI, they also have a band called Scratching Fork, two of them, which is like also this avant-garde ECM style jazz, and it's also based in Torun. And like people are willing to make that kind of music, and they are willing to listen to it. But yeah, it's bad for like more introverted people. I'm also an introverted person, but I just got lucky. But yeah, it's just about being persistent, because 4 out of 5 people might say, "Ah, man, that's not for me," but one person will say, "Well, yeah, sure, I am willing to join you on this improvised music quest."
Yeah. I would absolutely love to come over to Poland someday and just kind of like jam with you and selected people from the orchestra. Just
Well, you can stop by my place if you want.
it's great. Like, yeah, maybe we really have to plan this for the next year, for the upcoming year. Because
Well,
I would
sure.
totally be down to do that, and just some more live improvisation with some players in real life, you know?
Yeah, sure. Like, there is Poznan is like what, 3 hours by train from Berlin?
Exactly.
I don't know
Yeah.
how far from Berlin you are located, but
It would be
yeah,
like
it's
8
3
hours
from Berlin.
8 hours in total or something for me, but that's no problem, you know? That's super easy. Like, I would go to Copenhagen tomorrow, but I just canceled my train tickets because everything is fucked COVID-wise up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the the brother of the conductor from TOI is studying in our house.
Yeah.
And yeah, he also said that it's chaos, just chaos when it comes to COVID in Denmark right now. He
Really
managed
crazy,
to get
right?
out to Poland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if he were to come back from Denmark to Poland, he would have to do like this mandatory quarantine period and shit
Well,
like that,
yeah,
right?
he had to do this. Like, he is in Poland right now. He managed to get out. but yeah, he said that it was very, very hard.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, shit sucks right now. But hopefully it will get better in a few months, because I try to be an optimist, you know.
I'm pessimistic, honestly, but yeah, more power to you. Honestly, I really hope you will be right in your optimism.
Well, it's just when it comes to this whole pandemic thing, I was really depressed, especially because I joined the TOI in late February 2020.
Oh
So
fuck. Yeah.
I had one rehearsal, and then everything looked down for like the next 3 months or so.
Fuck.
Yeah, and yeah, that was really awful. But as the months went by, I just started getting more and more. Maybe this will be the last wave that locks us down,
Yeah.
because Germany is in lockdown right now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they kind of like semi-lockdown because, like, honestly, everybody is too scared. You know, like there is such a large demographic in Germany that is
Yeah.
just outright idiotic. To be honest, like fuck using that word, but like no other word like kind of
Yeah.
expresses like how fucking stupid the Germans are. Honestly. And yeah, we can't go full lockdown because if we go full lockdown, we have a civil war. You know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
basically the
yeah.
situation. And yeah, great.
It's great. Yeah, it's like in Poland right now. I mean, we've got such a huge anti-vaxxer population that would just completely ignore all the rules, that it doesn't really make sense to go into lockdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we were supposed to do this thing like a week ago, and I told you that I have a cold, it turned out to be COVID. So
Oh no. Fuck.
yeah,
That's how it goes. Oh no.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Fuck.
like I've got my quarantine till tomorrow, actually, because I started showing symptoms like on Sunday.
Oh.
So I
Yeah.
had yeah, tomorrow is gonna be 10 days from the day I started showing symptoms. So yeah, it's also like absolutely chaotic in Poland right now when it comes to COVID and stuff like that.
Damn. Okay,
Yeah,
we gotta wrap this up. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, we're 50 minutes
yeah.
in. This is probably one of the longest episodes so far. This has been a delight. This was wonderful interviewing Artur Iwinski from Poland. He's a member of TOI. He's a member of Kolorking Muzyczny. Yeah, check the shit out. It's in the description. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as well. And yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, bye bye.